All right, let's dive right into a huge question today. We're talking about AI, artificial intelligence, and how its evolution is set to completely transform the forward exchange market. This is one of the most complex financial systems on the entire planet, and it might be on the verge of a massive change. So, here's the central theme we're going to unpack. What if the FX market, which has always been this arena for speculation, for betting on an uncertain future, what if it morphed into something totally different, like a precise global calculation device? It sounds pretty out there, right? But it's a serious possibility. So let's break down how we could actually get from here to there. Okay, to really get a grip on this, we need a roadmap. And the best way to do that is to look at the three big phases of AI's evolution. We'll see how each stage builds on the one before it, and in the process, completely changes the game for currency trading. So first things first, why is the FX market so notoriously hard to predict? Well, it's because it's not just about crunching numbers. It's this incredibly intricate dance of geopolitics, the health of entire economies, and what central banks are doing with interest rates. All these things are tangled together. And you know what? That very complexity makes it the perfect arena for AI to really show what it can do. And here's that roadmap I was talking about. We're going to start with ANI, that's artificial narrow intelligence, which is the kind of specialized AI that's already deep in the markets right now. Then we look ahead to around 2030, when we might see the emergence of AGI, or artificial general intelligence. This is AI with a human-like ability to understand things. And the final leap, maybe around 2040, that's ASI, artificial superintelligence. We're talking about an intellect that could make our own look tiny in comparison. And believe me, each of these stages isn't just a simple upgrade, it's a whole new world. All right, let's kick things off with what's happening right now, in the present day. We're in the era of ANI, or artificial narrow intelligence. And this isn't some far-off sci-fi concept. This is the tech that's already the engine of the markets. And its biggest impact can be summed up in one word: speed. So think of ANI as a specialist. It's like a world-class surgeon who only performs one specific operation. It's designed to do one thing and do it incredibly well, like, say, instantly analyzing an economic report or spotting a complex pattern on a chart. In the world of FX, these specialists are already the main players, making trades faster than a human could even blink. So what does that actually mean in practice? Well, it means a trade can happen in a millisecond, just based on a single phrase in a central banker's speech. It means AI is constantly scanning millions of news headlines, tweets, and social media posts to figure out if the market is feeling fearful or greedy. And here's the really crucial part. It means the market today moves more on feelings, on expectation and sentiment, than on cold, hard reality. And that's because AI can measure those feelings in an instant. But, and this is a big but, there's a huge risk that comes with all this incredible speed. See, when you have thousands of these ANI systems all using similar programming, they can all react in the exact same way at the exact same moment. It's like a digital stampede, and that can trigger what we call flash crashes, where currency's value can just nosedive by hundreds of pips. We're talking tiny, tiny fractions of a cent, in literally the blink of an eye. So you can see that today's ANI is ridiculously fast, but at its core, it's still just reacting to things. The next phase, AGI, or artificial general intelligence, well, that's a whole different beast. This is the point where AI stops being just a super fast specialist and starts to actually think, reason, and understand the context behind the data, much like a human does.
And the difference here is just profound. An ANI sees a headline and reacts. An AGI reads the same headline and understands the entire story behind it. It's not just seeing isolated data points, it's getting the deep, complex context that connects everything. And from there, it can actually play out multiple possible future scenarios. It's a huge leap.
Think about it like this. An AGI could look at, say, some political instability in the Middle East, understand how that's going to mess up the semiconductor supply chain, and then calculate what that will ultimately do to the inflation rate in the United States. It sees the whole complex spider web, not just one or two threads. And this is where things get really interesting. It sets up this new kind of dynamic, a high-stakes chess match played at the speed of light. On one side of the board, you'll have AGI systems in the market trying to predict every move and make a profit. And on the other side, central banks will have their own AGI, trying to set policy and keep the whole system stable. It's not just traders against traders anymore. It's a genuine battle of intelligences. So where does that leave human traders in all of this? Well, it probably leaves them with this: 0. That's the number of arbitrage opportunities, those little market inefficiencies, left for a person to find and exploit. Any tiny mispricing anywhere in the world between any two currencies will be found and fixed by an AGI in an instant. Okay, now we get to the final stage, and this one is truly mind-bending. We're talking about ASI, or artificial superintelligence. This is the point where AI isn't just as smart as a human, it's more intelligent than all of humanity combined. And its impact isn't just on trading, it could reshape the very idea of what an economy even is. This leads to a really profound question. I mean, if you have an intelligence that can process every single variable in the global economy, could it actually eliminate economic uncertainty altogether? Think about that. Could the one thing that drives all speculation, the fact that the future is unknown, just disappear? The logic here kind of follows a pretty straight line. First, an ASI could, in theory, calculate the absolute true value of, well, everything. Every barrel of oil, every company, every single country's ability to produce stuff. And if that true value is a known quantity, then exchange rates would just lock into place to reflect it. And if the rates don't fluctuate, there's nothing to bet on. Speculation as a concept becomes obsolete. The game is just over. And that's what leads to what some are calling a black box economy. Just try to imagine a global economic system being perfectly optimized by an AI for maximum efficiency. It would be making decisions based on trillions of data points that are just beyond human comprehension. We'd see the result, a perfectly stable, super efficient economy, but we would have absolutely no idea how it was doing it. We would just have to accept the output and trust the black box. So we've gone on this pretty wild journey, from the here now all the way to a very different potential future. The big question is, what does all of this mean for us, for people? Where do we fit in this new picture? Okay, let's pull all these threads together. You can see how the main players shift, right? From humans working with fast algorithms to fully autonomous AGI agents, and eventually to a single ASI governing the system. We see trading itself go from these high-speed reactions to deep strategic plays, and then just disappear. But really, the most important change, the most crucial evolution is right there in that bottom row. What happens to the human role? Right now, in the ANI stage, we're basically tool operators. We build and manage the systems. When AGI arrives, our job gets a lot more, well, human. We'll be the ones setting the ethical guidelines and the big picture goals for these incredibly powerful systems. But in that final ASI stage, we're faced with a much, much deeper question about our own purpose. What do we do in a world that's already perfectly optimized by an intelligence far beyond our own? And that really brings us right back to where we started. This whole journey of AI evolution completely transforms what the market is. It stops being a speculative arena, a casino where you bet on an uncertain future, and it becomes this precise calculation device, perfectly adjusting and allocating value all across the planet. So we'll leave it with this thought. As this technology works to remove all the friction, all the uncertainty, and maybe even our choices from the economy, all in the name of perfect optimization, we're left with the biggest question of all. What then is our role? In that world, what is the thing that only humans can do?